I guess as humans, we always view the future through the lens of a past and we kind of project out. And it's, of course, never the case. Not to mention throw in exponential growth of something and it all goes out the window. But if you look at even a few hundred years ago, Willie, the nation state in Europe didn't really exist. I mean, how long has Germany been a country? Italy been a country? I was doing what the Queen and King told me to do here a couple hundred years ago. And so even the concept of a nation state is newer than we think. You mentioned the Industrial Revolution, which I'll take credit for here in the UK. But Dan Tapiero from 10T Holdings with me, and he said, Brian, Bitcoin's a bit like the steam engine. It's this piece of technology that, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. It fundamentally changed our entire human experience. It was also democratized. Anybody could build a steam engine anywhere. And as you alluded to, it actually redistributed wealth and power structures all around the world. Now we've got this digital money, as you said, almost the completion of what we always hoped the internet would be. What does that mean, like you said, for our power structures? And again, this is stuff we talk about a lot on this show. You fundamentally look at how does a nation state stay in control. It's ultimately about the money. I mean, there's laws, but they control people with money, and the people don't even know they're being controlled by that money. So this future you're talking about, it's sometimes hard to put in perspective because everybody's worried about the price of this and the latest coin and the DeFi protocols, which is all very interesting. But like you said, you take a step back and look to what the future would be. It can be a very different planet in the next 20, 30 years because of Bitcoin and blockchain.
Yeah, and it is absolutely unpredictable. I think we don't really have a handle on this. And, I like this metaphor because people say, well, what do you think? What are the apps that are going to be built on Bitcoin or, Ethereum or any of these DeFi networks? And, we're seeing remittances, we're seeing lending, we're seeing very much like the kind of finance we see on in the financial world that's traditional but brought onto a digital landscape. And it really just reminds me of the internet transition and the TV transition and all these transitions. It was like something I remember listening to a Steve Jobs interview, and he was asked about like, where do you see computers moving to? What is this? This is a new form of media. And he said that, like, if you look at TV, when we invented it, the first thing we put on TV was radio, effectively a radio show with pictures.
Yeah.
And it took 20 years to create the sitcom. And he said at the start of the computer age for the masses, he said, these Apple computers, they're going to be connected together. It's a new form of media. And I don't know what it'll produce. It'll take 20 years. He said this in the 90s. It'll take 20 years for us to figure out the medium for the web. And, that turned out to be social media, but that was not known about at the time these computers being made. And so we're making crypto networks now, we're making Bitcoin, we're making DeFi networks, and we're putting on radio with pictures, lending. This is like remittance, the same sort of stuff that savings, the same sort of stuff that we do in the traditional space, but it'll take, 2 decades from its inception to find its form if history tells us, it's going to repeat. And we're kind of halfway there now. And we're starting to see some pretty interesting stuff in the NFT world, seeing stuff like in the gaming world. And I think these experiments are interesting because they're leading us to non-obvious answers that we couldn't have dreamed of, like perhaps like 10 years ago. And I think, we don't know yet. Like that's an interesting point around this innovation, how things are moving forward, is that it's one step leads to the next, but we're not sure what the next step will be.